Yeah. Yeah. I'm honoured to be here. I'm happy to be here. I think December 19th is going to be crazy though. I think the centre's going to be like buzzing, just crazy energy in that room. I think it'll be really good. So now, remember, I took a year out of the game to refresh because I was just piling on more and more baggage. I just feel fresh. I feel rejuvenated. It wasn't like I took the year out in vain. I had a purpose and I'm just living. No, you look fresh. I feel good, man. I feel good. I've been training hard. I'm close to the weight that I need to be at for the fight. I feel good. He's done me a favour. Walking around bulky and heavy. I feel quick. I feel amazing. So I'm looking forward to the fight. That's why I'm just vibing on him. I think he is a smart operator. I think he's managed to put a good team around him to help him achieve his wildest dreams. I think he's a smart young man. So I don't want to focus on it being like about Jake. Oh, Jake's small, so that makes me confident. Jake's this, so that makes me confident. I'm just focused on myself. I'm confident in myself.
With the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua showdown just 2 weeks away, the atmosphere is already crackling with anticipation.
All right, come in. Yeah.
Coaches aren't meant to understand that you're tired. Coaches aren't meant to understand that you have emotions. Coaches are just supposed to look at you like you're a machine, and they just want results. I may be tired, but I just got to bite down on my gum shield because if I can perform to an elite level when I'm tired, imagine what I can do when I've got rest and when I've got energy. I've been through them days where I'm looking for sympathy and you just don't get it in sport, but you don't get it. I always knew there could be the most talented fighter out there, especially in our industry. If they can't sell tickets, they can't put bombs on seats, they'll never showcase their skills to the world, no matter how good they are. And that's why I say you have to have marketability and you have to have ability. And when you bring those two worlds together, it's a recipe for success.
Anthony Joshua clearly isn't approaching this as some casual influencer stunt. He's preparing like a man determined to end every meme and punchline before they even start. His focus is ice cold. No joking around, no distractions, just pure heavyweight menace. To him, this looks like one of the easiest bags of his career. Walk in, launch a right hand, and finish the night before it even begins.
So I say I don't think Jake's crazy. He's a realist. He's a logical man, and he wants to fight. He wants to fight good fight. I looked at it and said, wow, this is a great opportunity to showcase myself to the whole world, and God willing, my prayers are answered and I get the job done and I hurt Jake in spectacular fashion and I get a victory. And Jake called me directly. He called me. He didn't call my team. Jake called me. I said, okay, no problem, no problem. Easy money. Not easy money. We'll see. I'll let you know December 19th, December 20th.
But this is where things take an interesting turn. Jake Paul is carrying himself like he's about to rewrite the entire script of boxing, moving with a kind of fearless confidence that suggests he truly believes he belongs in the ring with a former unified champion. And like it or not, that unshakable self-belief might just be the biggest weapon he brings into the fight.
I don't think it's necessarily fair to AJ. I just know that I have the power and the timing. It's the shots that you don't see coming that knock people out. And I'm a tricky knockout artist that people don't give me enough credit for. I've won knockout of the year. So he has to be careful. And I do have the timing, the speed, and the tricks up my sleeve to be able to hit a shot on this guy that he doesn't see coming that can put him to sleep 1000%.
He genuinely believes he can derail Joshua's entire night, flip the storyline, crash the script, and turn what's supposed to be an effortless paycheck into the costliest headache AJ has ever tried to punch his way out of.
I think it's watching his Dubois fight, watching the Ruiz fight, even watching the Usyk fight. And when you look at it, he's lost to guys who are smaller than him. I think it's his, it's his weakness. His kryptonite is the faster guys who don't get hit by his big punches. He's definitely a bit chinny. He's durable. He gets back up. He knows how to fight when he's hurt, and he's still dangerous when he's hurt. but I do see holes where I can land big shots.
Amid all the hype surrounding this month's Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua showdown, Amir Khan has stepped in with a much heavier message. He's not treating this like another spectacle, he's warning that the matchup carries real danger. According to Khan, Jake's camp, and particularly his promoter, may be steering him into a situation that could put his health at serious risk.
Well, I think Nakisa hates Jake Paul because he wants him dead, I think. That's what it comes down to. Me and JB had a meeting with Nakisa and he was giving big ones, which I did not understand. He's not really like, come on. But like, he really wants to see his own friend that he calls my childhood friend hurt. That is wrong, bro. Like, you know what I mean? He's chasing the money. So he's just gone straight to the money and put my man in the firing line against a heavyweight champion who can hurt him and literally cause him problems in the future.
Khan says it feels like Jake's team is chasing a massive payday while overlooking the long-term risk to his health. He reminds everyone that a true heavyweight like Joshua can cause the kind of damage that doesn't just fade away. Unlike lifelong fighters who have spent years hardening their bodies for impact, Jake comes from a completely different world. That's why Khan insists boxing has to be treated with respect, because one perfectly timed shot from AJ, the same kind of punch that dropped Nanu, could do far more than derail Jake's boxing plans. It could change everything.
Look, if AJ hits him with a shot like he hit Ngannou and knocked him clean out, I mean, even Ngannou would knock Jake Paul out. But that just shows, like, but you can't mess with the sport. Boxing, you can't mess with boxing. Oh, boxing is a sport that you have to respect. You're always at one punch away from getting hurt, and something bad's gonna happen one day, and they're gonna regret it. They're gonna say, "Oh, why did we take that fight?" It's not like they need the money. And if I was AJ, and so a YouTuber come to me, who's tiny, who's smaller than me, and weaker than me, and has no experience at all, you think I'm gonna say no to him?
And while Khan acknowledges that a few influencers like Slim have proven they can actually fight, he says this particular matchup is crossing into a danger zone where a single error could lead to consequences no one wants. Not for Jake, not for Joshua, and not for the sport. His warning is straightforward: the buzz around influencer versus pro. Boxing can't blind people to the reality of what it means to face a world-class heavyweight. Boxing isn't about clout, clicks, or going viral. It's a sport where one misstep, one unexpected punch, can alter a career or a life in an instant.
Ends this YouTube boxing, because in a way, someone is gonna get hurt badly, and this could be the fight that someone gets hurt so bad that they will never ever get sanctioned to ever fight again. You know what I mean? But it's true though, innit, bro? Like, honestly, like, the sport is tough, man. And it's hurt and damaged a lot of people that have been boxers, and let alone, and these are people that are used to taking punches and punishment.
Building on Amir Khan's cautious outlook, the TalkSport conversation dives deeper into the situation from a more analytical angle, breaking down both the financial motivations and the competitive reality behind this matchup. Liam Smith admits he's entertained by the sheer spectacle of Jake Paul stepping in with Anthony Joshua. From his point of view, AJ's supporters see this as a simple, low-stress opportunity for Joshua to secure a big payday after years of grinding through top-tier competition.
He's actually helping a lot of female fighters and women boxing as well by putting his promotion on, so I respect him massively. But if Anthony Joshua was to lose to Jake Paul, it would be the biggest upset, travesty, whatever you want to call it, in boxing history. So he has to look past Jake Paul.
Well, let's hear from Anthony talking to the media in Miami. One of the questions that was put to him was about his lengthy stint outside of the ring.
So I took 12 months out of the game, realigned my vision board, and consolidated a lot of things, trimmed down my team, and I said I need 12 months to do that. So I took 12 months out of the game, and from September 21st, if you think about it back then, to now, December, that's 3 months. So most people take about 8 to 12 weeks to prepare for a fight, so this was like a preparation for a fight, basically.
The panel points out that Joshua has already stated he'll be coming in around 245 pounds, the same weight range where he's historically looked sharp, mobile, and at his best. They also highlight that he's cut out unnecessary distractions by switching trainers and relocating his camp away from London to stay fully locked in. Although the crew gives Jake credit for his marketing success and his role in boosting women's boxing, they're unanimous in saying the skill gap between the two fighters is enormous. In their view, if Joshua were somehow to lose, it would go down as one of the most unbelievable upsets in the history of the sport. Such a result would force serious conversations about his long-term goals, especially with Joshua determined to climb his way back into the world title picture.
225.
245.
245.
245.
But with no Again, there's no rehydration.
No rehydration clause. 245. That was the last time that he boxed Alexander Usyk, which was back in, what was that, 2022? I believe he weighed 245. He was in training camp anyway. He was going to be fighting on the undercard of this fight on Saturday night with Devin Haney. He was going to be fighting on that undercard, 22nd. So he's in shape. His weight's down anyway. So making 245, actually,
he has to be that.
Yeah, but that's his best weight anyway, Anthony Joshua. That's where he's more athletic. You know, he's got more movement and whatnot. And no disrespect to Jake Paul here. You go without looking past Jake Paul, but he could look past him.
The discussion then turns to bigger concerns about risk and reputation. TalkSport analysts note that Joshua's recent management changes, revamped training camp, and mental resets are all part of a long-term strategy to recover from previous setbacks. In contrast, none of that level of preparation realistically falls on Jake Paul. According to the panel, the pressure is squarely on Joshua to deliver a quick and convincing finish. Anything less could damage his public image and fuel speculation about a staged result. On the other hand, Paul's statements about being willing to die in the ring are seen as typical promotional bravado, but they also underscore a serious reality. Boxing is still an unforgiving sport, especially when facing true heavyweight power. With expectations on AJ to make a statement reminiscent of his past dominant performances, the analysts conclude that this fight carries significant reputational weight. Only a clean, early knockout, they argue, will put doubts to rest and preserve the credibility of the sport.
Give you any cause for concern about the sport?
He's a YouTuber, isn't he? So like, they want them views. His life's been about views, and taking this fight with Joshua is views for him. So even if he loses in first round, he can always say I've been in with Joshua.
Yeah.
So he's at a win-win. It's Anthony Joshua what's under pressure. He's got to knock him out fast.
Building on TalkSport's concerns about risk and credibility, former world champion Chris Algieri offers a grounded perspective from his own experience in the ring. He admits that even after watching the Miami press conference, he finds it hard to view Joshua versus Jake Paul as a fully legitimate matchup, a seasoned heavyweight champion facing a novice whose main strengths lie in business acumen and social media influence rather than elite boxing skill. Algieri points out that in a real 8-round fight, with standard 10-ounce gloves, Joshua's Olympic background, raw power, and recent highlight reel knockout of Ganu make it difficult to imagine Paul lasting past the opening round, unless unusual rules or restrictions are in place. He also notes that Joshua's calm demeanor during fight week could either reflect supreme confidence or a potentially dangerous miscalculation. And while some fans try to label AJ as chinny, Algieri firmly rejects that characterization.
So if it happens, it happens. Boxing is the wild, wild west. Anything can happen, and especially with Jake Paul and his money and his ability to make things happen, it's very, very possible. But I don't see how this fight ever makes it out of the first round. And if it does, then comes into question of, is this a real fight? I mean, have the rule set come out yet? Have we heard whether or not Anthony Joshua has to wear, his boots on the wrong feet if he can't throw his right hand? If he has to be, set up to a shock therapy if he throws punches? Is there anything said yet, or is this a real fight? Do we know?
8 rounds, 10-ounce gloves, 3 minutes.
And it's a real sanction.
Algieri explains that the first challenge for any fighter is landing a clean, effective shot. And Paul hasn't shown the ability to do that consistently, even against a declining Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Closing the distance on a legitimate heavyweight, he argues, is the real Pazula challenge many seasoned fighters have struggled to solve. The conversation then turns to legacy and consequence. Algieri firmly rejects the idea of taking a fight against Jake Paul himself, even for a large payday, emphasizing that his career and reputation deserve respect and that he won't participate in a spectacle purely for entertainment. He does, however, understand Joshua's decision to take a lucrative comeback fight after surgery and a tough defeat. Yet for 8, the stakes are far higher. Failing to stop Paul quickly could turn what should be a comeback story into a reputational crisis. With rumors of a fixed outcome spreading fast, Algieri stresses that calling Joshua chinny ignores the context. Being hurt by world-class punches is not the same as being vulnerable to a naturally smaller, social media-savvy cruiserweight. Even if Paul manages to land a shot, hurting, or finishing a 240-plus pound champion is a completely different challenge than stunning a retired, smaller opponent. Algieri says he'll be watching partly for the spectacle, and partly to see whether Paul truly grasps the enormity of this step up in competition. But he issues a blunt warning. One clean heavyweight grade punch from Joshua could end the entire experiment instantly.
The fight, if Jake Paul offered you millions and millions, would you get in the opposite corner to him and have that opportunity?
No. No. It's a sideshow.
You're probably the first fighter to say that.
Yeah, because first of all, I had a real career. and I respect the sport. And you're not just gonna pay me, so use me to come in there and go put this fight together. I'm not an active fighter. I haven't been for almost 5 years. To come off the couch just because of an opportunity, because there's a lot of money thrown at me. Listen, I respect what I've done in my career. Listen, if we were in my career and I was fighting and training and that came up and there was a reason for it, that's a whole different thing. Even Anthony Joshua, I don't knock Anthony Joshua at all for this. He's coming off of a loss. He's coming off of an elbow injury, and he's looking to get back in. This is a perfect get back fight. 8-rounder, and I get to make a ton of money. It makes total sense.
After everything we've heard, legends warning of disaster, analysts calling it a circus, and Jake Paul grinning like he's cracked the code, the countdown is on. This is a night where someone's entire reality could be appended live. Either AJ steps in, lands a thunderous shot, and ends this YouTube experiment before Jake even finishes his ring walk, or Paul pulls off a shock so wild it will leave boxing fans reeling and the internet in total disbelief. That's the thrill. Half of us see this as Joshua's easiest payday yet, while the other half are secretly bracing for one of the biggest upsets imaginable. If Paul survives even a few rounds, he earns serious respect. But if Joshua connects with that perfect punch, it won't just be a lost title, be a moment that leaves Jake questioning everything. So, what's your take? Is Jake rewriting boxing history, or is AJ putting him firmly back in his place? Drop your predictions, your bold opinions, and your wild theories in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Catch you in the next one.